Hear me out, hear me out. Let me just get this off my chest. Welcome to Her Diary Out Loud with Danny Royal, where my journey does not define me, but it defies the barriers of caring about what other people think. One real life experience at a time, my story, my way. I mean, it's better out than in, right? To be honest, I feel like if you're not creating, then you're not really being true to who you are. Your creating does not have to look like my creating. You could create anything that you choose. But the key is to seize the opportunity. For me, I didn't really know what that looked like until later on in life. I didn't even realize how much opportunity I did have. I didn't realize that I could make decisions that would change my life drastically in a positive way through creativity until my adult years. Not even my most recent adult years. I mean in my latter adult years. And I'm 33. So I'm just fine-tuning who I am as a creative. I used to think that I could not leverage on my artwork because I felt like I wasn't as good as someone else. But what I learned through that was to never compare yourself to anybody else, because your creativity is just as good as the next person's creativity. Your gift that God has given you is just as good as the gift that somebody else has. Maybe you know how to sing. Maybe you know how to dance. Maybe you know how to write. Maybe you know how to produce. Maybe you know how to just get people to listen to you. You are a creator. Maybe you create content. You are a creator. So in today's podcast, as a recap, I just want to touch on a few things that we've experienced. What did we go over? We went over in today's podcast that I am a creator myself. Literally in the whole aspect of the word. I am not just a mom, because I'm a creator there. I'm not just a sketch artist, because I am a creator there. I do sketch. I began there. I also am a painter. I created there. And these things bring me the most joy. I'm not even going to lie. So I unpacked some of those things. I unpacked how I began creating, when I found out I was a creator, all these things, like what sparked and lit my fire. And to be honest, I love the fact that now is when it's really unfolding. Back then, that for me was training ground. And the way that I've seen how far I've come as an artist, oh my goodness. Me being a creator is not just minimized to me being an artist. Although that is a huge part of who I am. Me being a creator extends itself abroad because I have so much to give the world. Maybe you are a creator and you've been holding on because of what somebody else thinks or feels about your art. No matter what your art is. There's a book that I actually love reading. And honestly, I haven't even read it all. I touched on that as well. I go a little bit deeper, but let me just say this. The artist way puts you at a place where you release yourself from all of the excuses that you may have had. It resets you. So if by chance you get the opportunity, I would like to encourage you to go over to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, or what have you, and go get that book, The Artist's Way by Maria Cameron. I believe I'm saying it right. If I'm not, it's The Artist's Way. And so when I found that book, I was just like, man, this is something else. So I've started on several times on end, but let me tell you, I have not finished that book. But I don't think that I need to finish that book per se in a rush. I really think that I need to take my time. And when you finally get the book, I feel like you should take your time because it unpacks the barriers of why you're not doing things the way that you should as a creator. I believe that we are ultimate creators. After all, the world that we live in has come from the ultimate creator. He said in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And I'm going to just put a period right there. In the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning, God created, period. We live in a world off of creativity. Creativity exudes us everywhere we go. That's why I am a creator. I am a creator, and I create things. I love creating content. I love creating life. I love creating opportunities. I love creating a new mind, a new space to do something great. I love taking myself outside of my own box. Sometimes I don't. Let's be honest. Let me be truthful. But there are times where I'm like, go ahead and do that. There are times where I'm like, sis, you did that. Just from stepping out on faith, stepping outside of my comfort zone. I would have never stepped outside of my comfort zone had I been comparing and constantly comparing my work and what I did and who I was to other people. Do you know how many platforms are out here with women and men who tells their stories? Why should I start a podcast right now? Why should I get out here and tell my story right now? Because your story is strategic to the individual, because somebody did not handle that story the way that you did. Somebody did not go through that story the way that you did. Somebody did not even make it out of the story the way that you did. Your journey is your own. Stop limiting yourself talking about I have creator's block, writer's block, music block, life block. No. The only block there is you. You are your biggest competition. You are your worst critic. You are your biggest fear. And we have to come out of that. So today I call myself a creator. I am. I am a creator. Because I believe that there is power in the I am. And anything that you say that you are, I am coming into agreement with what it is that I am. I create things, but not only do I create things, I create dope things. I create magnificent things. I create superb things. I create witty things. I have witty inventions and ideas. I am that. I do that. I am now a creative podcaster. Shout out to me, sis. Shout out to me. Give myself a pat on the back. Somebody needs to do that. When was the last time you gave yourself a pat on the back? Just for being your great. Just for having the audacity. Just for stepping into your power and letting the world see what you have to give. A lot of times, a lot of us have opportunities and open doors and gifts that we didn't even ask for. But then you have the people that work so hard just to get to where you're trying to go, where you want to go. Man. But even that, Even then, if you never start, you'll never know. If you never do anything about what it is that you can create, what it is that comes outside of you, what it is that God is putting you or placing you, you would never know. And truth be told, somebody needs what you have to give. So today, if you have not yet, I want you to go on over to Podbean and go subscribe to Her Diary Out Loud podcast and check us out. Check out I Am a Creator. I promise you, you will be encouraged. Yes, you will. Because I tell my story and I tell a little bit about where I was and where I am and where I'm going as an artist. My story, my way. Okay? So I want you all that create, all of the creators, all of the creators, and don't limit yourself. Don't do that. This is a place where you take you out of it and you really give that creative invention an opportunity, that creative moment an opportunity, that creative thought an opportunity to take you over. And then on the flip side of that, partner with the Holy Spirit. Maybe you don't know God the way that I do. Partner with somebody who believes in your dream just as much as you do, or even more than you do, rather. Oh, the confidence you would exude. Oh, the love you would exude just from that one person or those people who see something in you that you never even saw in yourself. But they saying you sitting on a gold mine in the background. Like, what are you doing, sis? What are you doing, bro? Let's get to it. Let's start creating things. Don't wait to create it just because we've experienced COVID and we've experienced this. Guess what? Now is the time to do it. Because guess what? Seasons change. Nothing stays the same. So while everybody else is waiting for their moment to come after hardship or after all of these things that have taken place in our society due to the lack of financial crisis or food shortages or what have you, you never have to know what it's like to not see how far you could have gone if you start, if you begin, and you create the opportunity and the moment to leverage the gifts that God has placed on the inside of you. Because believe it or not, sis, bro, you've got it. You just got to get out of your own way. Believe it or not, you're waiting on money to do it. But God didn't ask you to do that. He didn't ask you for money. He said start. Use what's in your hands. This for somebody. So I need you to catch it. I need you to take it, grab it. Start creating. Start decreeing, I am a creative. I am a creator. I create things. Great things happen to me because I use my great creations, because I use my gifts to do what God has called me to do. I am co-creating with the creator to create something massive. And now I need you to take massive action. So today's video, today's podcast recap is sponsored by yours truly, Nanabelle. I've created these earrings and I love these earrings. Different, very lightweight. They actually are colorful, they're handmade, and they're Nanabelle. If you have not, go on over to my Instagram page. Follow me on Hardistry 101 or at Hardistry 101 on Instagram. And that's HARTISTRY. I look forward to seeing you over there. Until then, I'll see y'all on the next video because we have a whole lot more to unpack. This is just me giving you a little briefing of who I am, what it is that I do, and leading you to a good girl podcast and even a good guy podcast, because I'm sure that there is something that our brothers can get from our podcast too. On that note, I'll see you all soon. Be sure to connect with us on all of our social media platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Her Diary Out Loud. Share this video out and the podcast with somebody you know, male, female, anybody can get it, okay? Also, leave us a raving review. Let us know how we're doing. Leave us a comment with questions or concerns in our DM, okay? We'd love to hear from you, and we want to connect with you. Also, lastly, remember that you're not just mentally fit, physically fit, or even spiritually fit, but you are feminine and fit. Bye.